stuff like that, I always say that like the best friends that I've made on the campaign trail are my Emerge Virginia sisters, and Dawn Adams and Chelsea Savage are the top two. I mean, it is what it is. Dawn and Maggie have literally put me up at their house. Dawn checks in on me regularly, like she says she don't have kids, but she's adopted one. It's like, yeah, I know I turned 33 at the end of the month, and you're just like, good girl. And I mean, Dawn checks up all the time. She wants to know. She doesn't ask me, hey, how's the campaign going? She's like, how are you doing? And Dawn has this voice in which it's like the voice of God of, don't disappoint me. Please tell me you're taking care of yourself. And to know that this is a woman who is the definition of compassion, the definition of empathy. She wears her heart out on her sleeve, and anyone who has ever seen her speak knows it's true. And Dawn used to, lack this level of self-confidence where she was standing up, when we were in the front of the Liberal woman in Chesterfield County. Or no, it wasn't just then. It was them. Where it's like she's broken in tears. It was a very emotional moment, and I'm like, and she thought, oh God, what have I done? Or no, that was the house training. That was house training. When that happened, and I just came up to her and I was just like, you just had a human moment. You just put your heart out there, and everyone saw how much you actually give a damn. That's huge. When politics and policy can move you to emotion, that means that you actually genuinely care. That means that you're not in this to benefit yourself. That means that you're in this because your heart's in the right place in the first place. Dawn's heart is always in the right place. I know this personally. I mean, Maggie knows better than anyone, but I'm just saying, girl, you picked yourself a good one. Yeah. And I mean, so I adore you. And in Chelsea's case, come here. Chelsea has literally been my shoulder to cry on, and I'm a little too amped up for that right now, but I'm only giving you a little bit.
Yay!
So her and Lizzie both know what it means to run too. Dawn and I were, extremely fortunate in that, we got our primaries alive. And at the same time, Lizzie, first, thank you for putting this together. This is awesome. This is what happens when you've actually got political courage that goes way, way, way beyond your own ambition. This is what happens when you say, you know what? I took a body blow. I lost. Things didn't work out. But that doesn't mean I still can't affect change. That doesn't mean that I have to just sit here on my hands and hope for, someone to say, oh, there, you'll get better at some point. Lizzie said, no, coach, put me back in. I'm ready to play. And she still is. This is why this is happening. This is why she keeps showing up. I love it. I love the fact that she's relentlessly showing up, staying involved, and she's like, look, I got a stake in getting a Democratic House majority too. I got a stake in the fact that representation matters, and only 17% of the House delegates are women, that we need to elect some more women, whether they are cisgender, transgender, lesbian, gay, straight, whatever they are, no matter the race, no matter what you look like, where you come from, how you look, who you love. We need more women in the House of Delegates, y'all. Yes. That's just a statement of fact. Why? Because we have a different worldview. We bring something different to the table. And it's just like, you can't have a world of diverse worldviews if you're having the same demographic making all the decisions. Look what happens in Washington, D.C. They go behind closed doors to put together a healthcare bill that's going to screw over women across the country. Yeah, and right. Susan Collins outside is like, hey dude, what's up? And they're like, no girls allowed. Yeah. She's like, you can have one though, right? It's like plural. None. And what happened? They tripped over their own feet. Feet's the nice word I'm going to use. I'm on camera right now. But they tripped over their feet, and they couldn't even get their own party to pass their own bill. This is what happens when you shut women out of the process. Oh, God. Or is anyone surprised that 2 of the women in the caucus went, screw that, no. And you can start over again. And even John McCain goes like, this isn't regular order. This isn't how we're supposed to actually craft legislation here. And so as they talk about that part of healthcare, to piggyback on what Dawn was saying before, isn't it important that people who actually know how healthcare works get elected right about now?
You're right.
I mean, when you have Dawn here with the level of expertise that she has, where she's dedicated as many years of her life as I've been alive to the field of healthcare, that's when you know that she's the real deal, y'all. She is
really old.
Anyway.
Vintage.
But hey, look, that hair is brand new though. Dude, give it up for Dawn's hair.
Yay!
She might have she might have a new knee. New hips. Might have some new hips. I'm not getting a new knee myself. But at the same time, we're still out walking. Here's the thing. Dawn Adams is coming up. I seen this woman walking around basically, with assistance, and she's just like, how many words I need to walk today? And I'm just like, I love that so much. I love seeing that. So let me kind of bring it all home for a second here and just tell you about why I'm running, why I'm doing this, and what we can all do together. So first off, for those who are unacquainted, my name is Danika Roen, or according to the Washington Post, transgender candidate. Or every single media outlet basically out there, period. I've been featured in more than 100 news stories so far, and I can count on one hand how many times my name has been used. It's like, I feel like if you Google transgender candidate versus Danika, you're going to get more stories about me than you all are just like searching for my name. Man, that's gonna be a scary search someday. Whatever, I'm good for it. So I'm a 32-year-old stepmom. I'm a lifelong Manassas resident. I'm a lifelong resident of my district, and I will be the transgender lady who finally unseats Delegate Bob Marshall.
Yeah.
But that's not my qualification for office. My qualification for office is that I was the lead reporter of the Gainesville Times, serving my home community for 9 years, 2 months, and 2 weeks. That I authored more than 2,500 news stories about the greater Prince William County area. That I was also the news editor of the Montgomery County Sentinel up in Maryland, not too far away, for a year and a third as well. So I helped manage the newsroom, and I did investigative journalism like the good little reporter that I am, because on the list of things that I really like about journalism, it is holding people in power accountable. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care what your, how many lawyers you got. Alright, so I can't use that many expletives anymore, but I'm the little reporter who decided to out Amazon as the owner of a very controversial data center out in Haymarket when Dominion Energy officials refused to do that. Y'all got some problems with Dominion down at James River. That's my understanding down here. We got a couple problems with them up north, and this is why I pledged never to accept any campaign contributions either as an incumbent or a candidate, like I am right now, from Dominion Energy, because they're and we gotta hold them accountable. I'm tired of them basically trying to buy off politicians so that they can basically get better SEC rulings, so that they can get more favorable stuff given to them. Enough of that. When Dominion is running roughshod and they're saying basically that it's either our way or the highway, when they're not out knocking on doors before they propose their policy ideas, if they're not out knocking on doors of the residents whose neighborhoods they would affect and say, hey, here's the situation we got. We need to supply power to this place. Our closest substation is here. What would be acceptable ways for us to link that for you? What would be unacceptable ways? Instead, what do? Here's a fully loaded chamber. It has 6 bullets in it. Please shoot yourself with the one that's going to hurt the least. Getting tired of that, because that's how they've been running business now for how long, y'all? This has been going on for years and years and years. I know this because in 2006, at age 22, I was already writing Dominion Plan's 155-foot high power tower, plan through I-66 corridor. That was in my first year on the job, writing stuff about that. 11 years later, it's still the same. And it's just like, you know what? Delegate Marshall talks a big game back home about it. He'll be best friend in the whole world trying to fight Dominion. And then what happens to every single one of his data center utility bills down here? Boo. They fail. He is in a 2-to-1 majority. He has had 26 years of seniority. He's ranked number 6 in seniority in the entire caucus, and he has a futility rating of that of a freshman member of the minority party. Well, as someone who will be a freshman member next year, I think I can do a little bit better in my first year than pass 1 House bill and 1 resolution. Since his last election in 2015, he has passed 3 out of 71 bills. 3 out of 71. If y'all failed 68 out of 71 times at your jobs, would you be able to afford to give money to John tonight? No. Would you be able to afford to give money to me? A little bit. But the way that I see this on this is that you've got to be effective. How come he's not effective? Because his legislative priorities are more focused on where I go to the bathroom as a transgender woman than how his constituents get to work. That is what we call a problem. Of his 15 House bills, this is the, so Delegate Marshall tends to wade into alternative facts. I'm a reporter. I use vetted facts from neutral, disinterested third-party observers. And the vetted facts will show you that of the 15 House bills he put in this year, one did he land multiple co-sponsors for. HB 1612, the bathroom bill. That shows you exactly where his priorities were. So what did he do this year? He put in 4 anti-LGBT bills, 5 abortion bills, pornography bill, a bill saying ISIS is bad they can't even get the Republicans to pass. My God. You're like, what? So his own party killed 27 of his 30 bills this year, and the governor vetoed another one because one of the only things that he could get out was something that would just basically discriminate against undocumented people. And if there's anything if there's any group of people that the Republican majority in the House of Delegates can't stand more than